Plant Hunter Guy podcast.
Welcome to the next episode of the Plant Hunter Guy podcast. Really excited today to be joined by Martin Baker from Baker's Garden Buildings. I've known Martin for quite a few years now. We met on a networking group and then we're doing quite a lot of stuff together through our businesses and become good friends really.
I'd like to say
Martin,
that.
Thanks a lot for coming along.
Pleasure.
Could you let us know a bit about your business, the history of it and sort of how you got into it?
Yeah, sure. So the history of it is my dad was made redundant so many times in the 80s. He just wanted to not be made redundant anymore, was working for a shed company. I said I'll do it myself and gave it a go. So that was 85. I was 11 years old then, so I've been in it since then.
Wow.
School holidays. Dad made me the floor manager, so he gave me a broom and told me to manage the dust off the floor into the bin, and I've just always been part of it. Knew I wanted to be part of the business. I got my indentures as a carpenter. He made me do that, but I was so angry. I wanted to join the business, and he's like, no. But yeah, so then me and Dad as a bit of a force together since '93 when I joined formally the business. We've just evolved from sheds, summer houses, and cabins. We made our first insulated office building in I think that was 95, very crude. And then we've just really evolved the business from there. I had some really big ideas around 2000, the change of the century. So I kind of like went to Dad with those ideas and said, look, I've got these, I think we can go, I want to do this. And he was like, brilliant, here's the reins, off you go. I've got your back. And so we kind of done that together until we retired. He'd say 3 years ago. I'd say 8 years ago. Yeah, but yeah.
So how was that like doing something in the family? I know sometimes can be tricky. How was that for you guys?
Yeah, I've seen so many family business fail, particularly siblings. But yeah, me and Dad just get it. We're quite different, but the same, I guess. It's a strange thing to say, but yeah, we get each other. Yeah. He's quite a calming factor over my more energized side, but it really worked. We've always been able to sit down, talk stuff through, and I think we've always understood the end goal or the direction, and it's worked great. We're buddies, and I love that.
When I took over this business, and there was two owners, Angus and Robin, so I worked really closely with both of them. Yeah. But it can be brilliant when it works really well, can't it? It's about using each other's strengths and playing. Yeah, I
mean, I can remember back, thinking right back when it was a chicken shed day. I've got me creosoting the sheds, Dad on the bench making them, my mum on the saw cutting the timber. You talk about a family business. We're proper into it. I'm sure my sister was probably making a coffee at the time. So yeah, it's been great and it worked. Yeah, and when it works, it's great. And to be able to have a family name above the door and with the pride that we have in it, I love it. Yeah.
Cool. So you mentioned that sort of evolution of the business, that all those changes. So and then you've sort of played on the fact that you've had more energy and had these ideas. So what was the reason why you wanted to do that? Why did you want to make that change? Yeah,
sure. So as I said, Dad just didn't want to be made redundant anymore. I wouldn't shy away from it. I want to be the best in the UK at what we've done. And I really felt that there was zero maintenance or ways to extend the guarantees by using more innovative products than just timber was where I wanted to go. So that was the kind of direction that I wanted to do. And as I say, Dad was like, yeah, great ideas. I'm a bit tired of all of this, but go for it. So that was my direction. And then the invention of some of the materials that we've been using, particularly MTX, Medite, Tricoya Extreme, that's game changed my business in the last 10 years to offer complete zero maintenance buildings, so like an extension in the garden.
Amazing. And there's obviously been sort of it's a trend really, isn't it, to be doing that. Assuming COVID had an impact on that, or was it before that?
It was before that, but talking about being in the right place at the right time, COVID was it for us because we were really well positioned in the market anyway. And I think that's been a huge education piece for people. But yeah, we were selling garden rooms and offices 15 years before that. And we were, you dream of running a business where people are throwing deposits at you and just wanting orders, and your order book is growing, and that was COVID for us as a business. We had some personal tragedies. It wasn't a great time in the world, but for me, my staff was great. And even we took on board people that got made redundant from Gatwick, particularly like all the baggage handlers, because they had all the lifting skills and everything we needed. They just came straight in. So as we grew our business, we felt that we could help a small part of the local community as well.
Running a tours is really difficult, isn't it? So you try to take advantage of things like that, opportunities. So if we talk about challenges, tell us a few things that I don't think maybe that over the years that you've faced and things you've had to.
Yeah, I think running a small business is challenging. There's no doubt about it. It's rewarding as well. I think the biggest trouble that I've had is like wearing. Having to wear so many hats, at any one time. But I've kind of learned sometimes you just need to be a short-term expert. So you meet with somebody that is your expert, whatever that be, an accountant or someone who's doing some research and development for you. Understanding it, making a decision, and then kind of being able just to forget that and be that next bit. So I felt that's worked for me, and I quite like getting into some detail and then making a decision and then being able to step out of that.
Because we meet, through regularly, maybe once a month for breakfast, and we have a chat about challenges. Yeah. I find you've really helped me with that. The idea that I can call upon an expert to help. Yeah. And I think my big change over the last 2 years has definitely been this idea that you look at certain people that can advise you. Yeah. So we go together because we're talking about how to run a business. I've got definitely an IFA now who's really taken on some of those stresses I've been having. Because ultimately you need to be totally driven, don't you, and focused on what you're trying to achieve. Yeah, and I think that's a really good point. I met with my financial advisor yesterday and just like sit down, make some decisions, understand it, let it go. And I think traditional mentorship or just having a chat is the way to go. I think that we all can relate to that. And then when you get to know somebody as well as I have with you, you then can share more the real concerns about a business, like the self-doubt, the anxiety that you have, maybe the positivity that brings. Now, I think a bit of anxiety and self-doubt is really good for a business because you're one step ahead or you're trying to find the problem. Or see the problem ahead of it happening, but at the same time, then you've got to go home and try and switch it off, and that's not very easy. So I think that there's a big a juxtaposition of like running a business, and you're in it, and then I can't just go home and switch it off. So that's the challenge. Same, yeah. Yeah. I think that, but again, I think although I'm really trying to do that, I think there's an element where if I stopped and I did switch off every night, I think I might need to leave or stop. Yeah. Because I think it's that passion coming out, isn't it? It's just managing it and being balanced about how the stress basically.
And that's going to be challenging. So I've got I'm neurodiverse. I found that out in the last kind of 18 months. Really, I've been dyslexic for years, but I've found out my neurodiverse challenges and the pros of that. And I'm not around. I'm not a doctor, but I am going to diagnose you with a big slap of ADHD. So with that, your brain races and it works in two ways. And I found that there's a worry, anxiety side, but there's also a creative and problem-solving side. There's no good or bad neurodiversity. It's just these things will just come and get you. So I think for me, I just can't switch off. That's the problem. But I'll lay in bed, writing emails in my head, working through problems, and that is positive for the business. I know it's positive for me, but I think it's positive to the business. Yeah.
There was a podcast you mentioned to us earlier. Tell us about that. Would you recommend it for others?
Yeah. If you think you've got ADHD or you think you've got some neurodiversity, I think I gravitated towards different podcasts and stories that work for me. There's some really striking facts. 3 to 4% of people in the UK are neurodiverse. Yet 28% of entrepreneurs are likely to have ADHD or confirmed, and also 25% of people in prison. So again, there's not a right or wrong or good or bad version of it. It's just how your brain works. I found ADHD Chatter. It's a podcast by the guy that set up Lab Bible and Unilad. It's really open and a really interesting way of finding it. And you don't have to go and get a diagnosis, and you might not want to, but I've found it to really help me. And the big thing it's helped me with is I'm in my business with my management team going, why is nobody thinking like me? And it turns out I'm the unique one, not them. So it's allowed me to kind of give them some slack, understand them, and that they're not going to think like me, and I'll try and take the positive out of the neurodiversity that I have.
Yeah, it's really. We'll put a link to that all below. So
I think it's a good thing.
It's a good thing to have a look at. I'll check that out.
Yeah.
You also mentioned about creativity. Now, your business is obviously really important, like ours, to do that. So, or to be creative. So, how have you is that something you've always had, or have you developed that over time? And
yeah, I think developed it over time. So in designing buildings, there's a kind of nice cathartic way of doing it. So a lot of our design updates have been customer led. So a client comes in and they say, oh look, I've seen this idea, had this idea, got a sketch, or I've seen something online, and we may have never done that before. So that's a way of doing it. We've also made now 25,000 buildings over the 41 years that we've done.
Wow.
So you've got 25,000 opportunities to make it better. So every time I go back to do the videos, which my YouTube channel is quite big and people like seeing these finished projects, I would also go and look around of what could we do better. Even though we've got 5-star reviews and everyone's really happy, if we've got another opportunity to make another building, what can we do? So that's I guess that's slightly more kind of technical. But particularly in the recent years, I've found that I've been having more ideas and been more involved going to shows like the Surface Show and Futurescapes and seeing new products and how can we integrate them. And I've really enjoyed doing that. And then that's when the real creative side comes in, and just trying to take from normally house building and trends and bringing it into our builds.
I've always sort of admired you're really fantastic at going to these events and just chatting to people and meeting people and networking.
Yeah.
I know some people. I'm a pretty sociable guy, but I do actually find that kind of things a bit uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah.
So when you go to these events, any tricks for people or things that you do that make it comfortable for you and that you've found have been successful about building relationships?
Go with a mate that knows your business. So Matt Saunders, Storm 12, he like non-execs for me. We mentor each other, as you know. We get together with him, and we make it a nice day out where we go in with some focus. And I think that's worked really well for me. So it's a nice day out. Yeah. We get some time together. We inspire each other. Matt might go, that's a great idea, but I'm being negative about I see the technical problems, and he's not. And that's worked really well to kind of have somebody to bounce off when I might dismiss something quickly and go like that. And
really powerful.
Yeah. And maybe have a glass of red wine at lunchtime. Maybe that might help.
And enjoy the day. Basically.
Yeah. I mean, I feel naughty doing stuff like that. Like I should be like at the grindstone all the time. So it kind of feels like a naughty day out, doesn't it? But these days of development, this year I went to Futurescapes, had some more detailed discussions with London Stone and others, and it's led to some amazing stuff that we'll discuss later.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's really important.
Yeah, and in terms of that, going back to that creativity side, so I find the same thing. Like I have a lot of I swim and try and go walking or whatever else I'm doing outside of work, and that's when I have a lot of ideas.
Massively.
How do you log those? How do you make sure again that you don't ruin that swim just by working?
Okay, so that is brilliant. So my dad used to call it his bath moment, right? And it's true, isn't it? You're trying to find the problem, and you're looking at it, you're in the office, you're talking it through, and Dad has a bath every day, whatever. I cycle and swim, so that's normally when it just drops in your brain. You're like, it's so easy. Yeah. So sometimes not thinking about the problem allows you the freedom to find the solution. I might not do it here because about 10 phones might go off, but I just use Siri all the time. So I've got a reminder set up on that, and that thing goes off all the time. I'm asking it to remind me about this, and then I can log that. So even when I'm cycling, I'll shout to the phone that's in the back, set a reminder, or stop and set something, so then it can leave my brain and I can actually enjoy the bike ride.
That's brilliant.
But making some kind of note quickly when it happens, for me is a must, or else it will go again.
It's really interesting. So I think the more people I speak, especially when you're running a business or you've got a role where you're constantly thinking about what you're doing, that is a common thread that you need to get it out of your head and written down somewhere. Yeah. So we have a system here with the team where before they leave, at the end of the day, I ask them to write down a list of all the tasks they've got to do the next day, highlighting 3, which I'd call their A tasks, the most important tasks.
Yeah.
And that's like a way for them to be able to process it and leave and have a healthy, out of like out of work balance?
We use a Microsoft system with task teams and Power Automate. So we've got a channel for every client, and there's a load of tasks in there. There's about 400 things that happen, and it will fire out to the particular management team member on the right date. But it also, that's my kind of, when the building's sold and I've done all the advice, that's when I hand over. But that allows me to brain dump everything, so I can go into that channel, add all my bits in. We've got a way of doing it that then I know it's going to happen, and the team have got the information that's in here, and it then does allow me to forget. So that, I think, is a really important. You have to somehow document it, and as a business owner, if you're asking somebody to do it, walking past them and going, don't forget to do that tomorrow, it isn't fair to that person, because they've got other stuff going on. So getting it down on some system and having a robust system is really important.
Yeah, it's really good to talk about that. Going back again, you mentioned about this sort of development, I suppose, of the business that you went through. Now, again, every time I meet you, I leave buzzing, loads of energy, probably both ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you've got this real sort of spirit to change and to improve things, and you've said that earlier. Now, traditionally in business, there's definitely this idea that having real sort of laser focus and don't change what you do, just do it really well, is really important. But you do that, but you also are creative, aren't you? And you're changing the model. So tell us, how do you balance that up?
Well, I guess that is my laser focus, to change and to develop and to be at the top of my game, to be 2 steps ahead of our competitors, not one, is my laser focus. That, along with the client experience. So there's that kind of creativity also is business development. I've now been doing this 35 years. If I was still making garden sheds, I would be bored as hell. So for me, the drive for me to want to do this, run this business, is that we are developing, and that is a massive part of my focus. Obviously, making sure my staff are happy and making sure my clients are happy and we're doing a good product is all part of it. But that kind of BD side of me, it's the bit that drives me, and I love it. And 2 years ago, we done a huge development at the centre, and I was kind of going, well, I think that's me. I don't know where I'm going next with it. And right now, we're just starting probably my biggest development ever in a single year. I didn't see it coming. This is all coming the last 8 months or so. And I love it. I'm so energised and excited by it.
Tell us about that. So we can kind of go back to where we first started working together, really. So we've met up, and then we realised that there's quite a lot of comparison in terms of our business, and then with us doing the plants and you doing the buildings. Yeah. So we realised that, and then you've also connected up and had a partnership with Karen McClure and Rachel. Yeah. So just tell us a bit about that, and if people haven't been to where you are in your showroom, just tell us how that's worked up to now. Yeah, and this is where these all things kind of come in and align with, like, mentorship or conversation or whatever we want to call what we do. So it really, it's always been an idea of mine, but it really started. We done a project with Karen McClure. We met through the client. Me and Karen and the team got on really well. We got chatting to Millboard. They got a new gold decor out, and we said, well, why don't we do a building at the centre? And then we were chatting at the same time. So I think what's been missing in our industry is garden building companies understanding what garden designers and planting designers want. And there we go, a new laser focus of where I want to go. So we've created a new collection called the Designer Collection, and Karen, it was the first person on our centre to design the garden that you've done brilliantly, the building exterior looks, not designed by me, and the interior design of that. And that really went down well. I hope garden designers feel that we understand their requirements and feel listened to. And that's kind of evolved. Rachel Guzzi's just done a stunning building at the centre, all in the design-clad, London Stone design-clad, dark steel, Corten steel. It's a show-stopping building. You've seen it, you've been part of it, you've done the planting. Everyone walks into that centre and go, wow, I've never seen it before. And they haven't, because it's the only one in the world like it. And we're really proud, that we've done that. But what kind of happens over those years is we collect, I use the word collect, that's rude. We meet and kind of gravitate towards good people that run good businesses.
you want to be helpful to the client. So being able to have what we call like a trusted partner setup is where I'm trying to get to. So we have garden designers that recommend us or we recommend them, planting, and the whole thing comes together. And what we're about to do at the centre will demonstrate that at a very high level.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So that idea that you come and see you, and then you can sort of almost change the building, that they're not just a standard, comes down to your creativity again and this change. So you've got a really cool tool on the website, haven't you? So you're using tech too. So how does that work? Yeah,
so that's just launched. So this is literally, we are soft launched it a week ago. We're now second week in January as we're talking here. We're formally launching it probably the end of this week. So that's been a labour of love, 6 months of me with my head in my hands with a developer. It was a pre-platform product of a garden room configurator that we've then customised to our own. It's probably got about 10,000 different options on there. Amazing. So it's mega, but it will allow us, you, designers, the individual person to actually design their own room, and you can then amend it, feature walls. Literally, we've made it as accurate as possible with as many options, and that's been the challenge. We've now even added saunas that you can change the size of, and the specific gym equipment brands, and we've branded London Stone. Today we've just launched Grillo on it, so that you can actually pick a Grillo kitchen and then put it into the canopy. It's mega, and then you're able to augment that in the garden and actually walk inside of the room in its position. And I think that it's going to be a significant tool for people to really get proper visualization. I think that's what we miss. Probably we and your design team, they've just in their head. Actually getting it to a client in a visual way is so important. Yeah,
because our whole design, our sort of planting design model has always been, if you like what you see at the nursery, you're going to love our planting design. And so we send, essentially a plant list, and then we come in and there's a lot of trust.
Yeah.
Whereas we now have just using a bit of AI and also our design skills, we render quick images, and that has just been a massive turning point for us. And one of the cool things is that we can now take your building that we've configured ourselves, put it in someone's garden, and then have planting around it. Yeah. And it's just visually brilliant for a customer to understand.
And knowing how easy that is for you, we're now talking to clients when they say, "Oh, I'm thinking about a bit of planting or a bit of garden design." I can augment the garden room in there while I'm there in their garden. Take a screenshot, buzz it over to Ellis, who will then do the planting design, and we've got it back to the client before I'm leaving the meeting. I mean, that's so cool, and the speed of that and the visualization, I think it's so important. And I think maybe a lot of companies forget that not everyone pictures it like you do as a business owner or as a creative. So it's important to get it across.
It's been really beneficial to us because we've got the experience, there's loads of knowledge here. It's just about getting it somewhere that's easy to sort of see, really, to visualise. So it's been brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's important.
So tell us, we have worked here, haven't we, this trusted partnership model that you're talking about.
Yeah.
We've got an example, haven't we, of a customer we work with. So how did that work, and why was that important to you to do it in that way?
Well, I guess it's just listening to customers, right? We found that, if I'm honest with you, we're essentially a garden building manufacturer, right? We've got a factory, and next to it's our show centre. And really what we're interested in as an accountancy financial thing is making garden buildings. But customers want a complete service. They want base works, they electrics, they want the TV on the wall, they want the saunas. So that trusted partnership and collecting good companies and bringing them together. And I think the Walsh project that we worked on together, that's on the YouTube channel now, my YouTube channel, Baker's Garden Buildings, is that at the epitome of what we're trying to achieve. So this was 7 companies probably in total, all coming from me and introducing. So we had Tom Manville, TJM, doing the landscaping and the groundworks. The landscaping was with London Stone. Then we had M8 and Sally at the team there providing saunas, the gym equipment. We done the garden room. We had Subcool do the climate control there. You done the planting design, that beautiful Nowaki tree that you've got there. Oh, it's just stunning. So the client gave us a 5-star review. He gave every one of the trusted partners a 5-star review as well. And he walked away with a complete garden transformation that was all part of all part of the instigation of me doing it. Now, there's little financial gain in it, but there is so much pride of the project going across, and that's a real motivator for me is, pride in the business and the customer experience. So
it's
I love it.
I've really tried to build partnerships before, and I've watched you do it, and you're excellent at doing that.
Thank you.
And it's hard because you've got to manage all these people, but you also want to make sure the end customer is getting a brilliant result. So that's where trusted is really important.
Yeah, it is, and you can get it wrong. We've recommended people and it's not worked. So I kind of have a rule that either I need to know the owner of the business, or at least high enough up that if there is a problem with one of my trusted partners in a client experience, that I can pick up the phone to somebody that actually matters, and that for me is the most important part of it, and actually having a better connection is really important. So so what we're doing at the centre is at the moment is going to be mega. Yeah,
absolutely. So do you want to tell us a bit more about that, or do you want to leave that for another time?
No,
maybe give us a little.
Yeah, to give a little insight. So work this trusted partner idea is really, I think it's cemented for me what clients want. So where we're at now is trying to now demonstrate that at the centre. Futurescapes, I said about networking. Yeah. Got chatting to Jamie Norris from London Stone again. Then got talking to the owners of London Stone, who are now going to be looking to supply all the paving and have us as like a showroom there. We've now got Grillo being on board. We're gold trusted partners of theirs, trade partners of theirs. Millboard are going to have a bigger view there. So we're bringing them together. You already, have good visualization on the centre there with the gardens that you've done. We're going to have the landscaping from Tom Manville carried out there. So it becomes a hub for people to use. So you'll be able to rent out the Karen McClure room. Sit clients in there. They may not even want a garden building, but we want that kind of people to come as a hub and demonstrate that trusted partners. The gym equipment's already in from MA, and we're working with the Wood Veneer Hub, so they do some great interior designs. So really it's just about bringing great companies together, making my show centre look nice, as a benefit for us as a company, absolutely. But also allowing everyone to kind of utilise the space, and every square metre make some money for somebody, if not us. So.
Brilliant. So we're nearly finished.
Yep.
Tell us a bit about why someone who's maybe thinking about, going and running a company or starting a company, why would they want to do it? Tell us maybe start with one reason why they'd want to do it and what they need to know.
Okay, so I'm going to come back to the neurodiversity on this one. I'm just going to focus on that bit. If you've got a neurodiversity, being run by somebody else is very challenging because your brain's not going to work like some people want. So a good reason to run your own business is you can do it your way and get people in that maybe. The bad bits, the bits I can't do, the kind of sitting down doing detail stuff, get somebody else to do. So that's one reason why you would do it. The freedom, the pain is there. I'm not going to hide away, but the reward is great. And I think if you've got it in you, if it's something in your soul that you think you want to do, you only regret things you don't do.
Yeah, I 100% am on board with the team thing. For me, just having very complementary team players with me is really important.
Yeah.
And if you do tend to jump around in terms of ideas, you need people to carry on developing and finishing what you started.
Absolutely, yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. But that's the benefit. If you can get to a size where you're not a one-person company or a 4 or 5 person company, find what you're weak at and put somebody who's strong at that bit, and it allows you and them to have an enjoyable time.
Oh, thanks so much. We'll put all the links below of everything you mentioned. If you're interested in following our podcast, you can do that through our YouTube channel, Instagram, and various other methods we'll show you below. Thank you for joining us. Thanks, Martin.
Pleasure.
See you soon.
The Plant Hunter Guy podcast.